Hi guys, this is Anita. Welcome to my channel. I would like to talk about what is really happening in China and what is hot on the Chinese internet. Feel free to ask me anything and I will reply in a comment section. This incident I'm about to talk today is also discussed in The Economist. I will add a link below, so if you're interested, you can also refer to it. Okay, let's get started. This week, we have been extremely furious about a celebrity called Xiao Zhan. He looks like this. Oops, actually this. Well, we have been seriously mad about him since the beginning of this year, and we called it 227 for the exact date. A chiefs of our own, aka AO3, an original literature platform, was suddenly disconnected from China. Chinese readers of AO3 were stunned. It has never happened before that an art website that has absolutely nothing to do with politics nor pornography got blocked in China. It wasn't after long before the whole circle of AO3 went explosion. The readers were not the most devastating victims. It was the writers that lost all their hard work for years. Soon after this incident, truth revealed that Xiao Zhan's fans were behind it. You don't have the freedom to create boy love content about Xiao because we don't like it. So we reported to the government to block you. It was ironic because it was none other but exactly boys love readers put Xiao, who has no talent for music, no acting, to a high place today. Usually, when such scandal happens, a celebrity's PR team will give public apologies. Oops, not this one. No apologies, not a word of showing any regrets. We will do it again. We are not sorry. If it is blocked, that's because it has its own problems. Not only didn't they apologize, to shut the protesters up, they acted in groups to attack anyone that dared to say one word of complaint about Xiao. The cult followers make it impossible for the people to talk about Xiao. Instead, people start to refer to him as, well, you know who. After exactly 2 months of the AO3 closed down, Xiao himself paid Weibo, one of the mainstream SNS in China, to delete the accounts of several leading protesters, which is super bizarre because a company can't delete its users' account if someone else pays for it. It's like I can delete anyone's channel if I pay YouTube to do it. This had triggered an even bigger protest that lasted till June, when a data engineer gave a data analysis showing how resentful people are of Xiao now. Needless to say, the Xiao plague not only impacted the AO3 circle. With no power to balance the power of money behind Xiao, Xiao became a cancer lurking on all the subculture circles of China, waiting to plague whoever they want if they are displeased. This is also when my fury was triggered, by the blatant arrogance, also by the power behind Xiao, which we will come to later. It is exactly this week when, again, the leading protesters' accounts were blasted into ashes by Xiao himself. Not to mention that the data engineer who showed people the real sentiment about Xiao was threatened and received harassment in real life. And of course, she was forced to use another account because, oops, Xiao made it impossible for her to use her original account too. And all above is just a straw that breaks a camel's back. Xiao and his cult followers did far worse things than that. Threatening people in real life, encouraging victims of 227 to commit suicide, brainwash teenagers to make them spend their breakfast money and study time on Xiao, force kindergarten kids to worship Xiao. I mean, imagine daycare workers force toddlers to worship Justin Bieber. Xiao's hate speech also floated out of the surface as the protesters' army growing bigger and bigger each day. He objectified women and insulted women as being as beautiful as a sex toy. He's a reckless racist as well, calling an Indian Chinese actress nigger, let alone his discrimination towards subcultures. After his cult followers spending the whole day cursing L3 protesters, he took his cult followers' side by posting, "Good night, I firmly stand with you." Actually, here I would like to express my gratitude to someone who works in Estée Lauder France. To protect her personal info, I will refer to her as Miss K. Most of the brands that cooperating with Xiao has stopped using him as a brand representative because of the vile conduct of him and his cult followers. However, Estée Lauder China kept taking him as its representative of makeup and perfume. It seems like some staff working for Estée Lauder China are somehow connected to Xiao and his cult followers, so they ignored the massive protests from the victims. What Miss K did is she listened to me and very carefully and nicely offered me help by sharing my voice to the Estée Lauder US. Thank you, Miss K. I believe Estée Lauder's true brand value lies in equality and love, and I hope to hear from Estée Lauder soon about why this racist is still representing Estée Lauder makeup and perfume in China. It is worth mentioning that till this moment, when I make this video, a vote that started by the data engineer, serving how many people are getting so furious that none of his presence in public is wanted, got more than 400,000 victims' votes. I know what you want to say. Why government officers did nothing about it? To explain, let's trace back to the power behind Xiao, Tencent. If you work within the field of artificial intelligence or data mining related, you must have been familiar with this oligopoly of China. Before Tencent became an oligopoly, voices of the people are supervised by the Chinese Communist Party. However, when Tencent getting richer and richer, it starts to seek public power, like all those copper trusts, iron trusts, and sugar trusts in the rest of the world. However, given China's unique political environment, Tencent evolved into a deformed monster that no other countries in this world has seen yet. Tencent controlled the SNS, controlled the supervision of SNS by hiring high officials in the government, and they won't let people discuss about it because oops, they owned WeChat too. So let's go back to Xiao, who is a product of Tencent. In a communism country, it is usually the government that determines what comes out of a mass protests of the people. But this deformed oligopoly internet trust Tencent, without anyone noticing, has secretly made itself deputy of the government. What used to be judged by government is now directly handled by Tencent. People's voice that used to be received by the government are now only received by Tencent, without even informing the government that the voices has been made. What's worse, Tencent claimed to the people that the judgment was done by the government, thus it is absolutely correct to shut you up. Meanwhile, Tencent faces a government pretending to be innocent. Also, it is not the first time Tencent tries to destroy culture or subculture in China. Tencent robbed the intelligence properties of authors and claimed that all the works on Tencent platform belongs to Tencent. It's like as if media owns every article people wrote on it. Plagiarism is written in the DNA of Tencent. They copy games from small companies and sue the creators for IP plagiarism. And it won. Why it won? As I mentioned, it now obtained the power to which only a government should be given, the power of law and justice. This is not supposed to happen in a communism country. At least Tencent should not have the power to shut the voice of the victims. What, like Tencent think is too big to fall? This is also the impulse of me starting this channel. To help the voice of the victims be heard, it is only in this way oligopolies will think twice before they attempt to dominate the law system, knowing victims are able to make voices on platforms that doesn't belong to, for example, Tencent. I heard that Tencent had bought Netflix this month. People of Northeastern Asia, If you don't want the same thing to happen to your country, be very, very careful about it. International oligopolies are even scarier. Just think about the horrible working environment of H&M factories. Otherwise, what happens to us will happen to you. A day will come when you become a victim, but your voice could not be heard anymore. That's it for today. Please comment if you have any ideas you would like to share with me. I will reply. If you want to be helpful for the victims, please help spread this video and maybe email to US. Also, if there's anything else you would like to know or interested about what's really happening in China, please spill it out and I might do it next time. See you!